Let's move on to the first speaker today, Professor Andy Chun, Vice President, Professional and Career Development of HKCS. He is also the Regional Director, Technology Innovation, Prudential Corporation Asia. His topic today is AI in the Metaverse. For all audience, please feel free to raise your question in the Q&A session. We shall bring your questions in the Q&A session later. I will pass the screen to you, Andy, please.
Thank you, Dave. Welcome to my talk on AI in the Metaverse. First, I want to just very quickly go over, what is the Metaverse? Because the Metaverse can mean so many different things. If you ask 20 different people, you probably get 20 different answers. Because Metaverse is still expanding. There's a lot of opportunities and a lot of functionalities. To some, metaverses are places where you meet friends virtually and do things together, such as visit art museums or just sit and chat. To others, metaverses are highly immersive and interactive 3D environments for gamers. Gaming platforms like Fortnite, Roblox, Sandbox, etc., or the upcoming Star Atlas and intergalactic space exploration game. Some will say metaverses are great for virtual concerts. For example, Marshmello, Travis Scott, Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber all had concerts in the metaverse. Even ABBA reunites after 40 years to hold a virtual concert next month. So this slide shows Travis Scott's metaverse concert. Supposedly, he made 20 million in his 15-minute concert in Fortnite with over 12 million people watching. In a real-life concert, he will need to perform for at least 2 to 3 hours, and maybe only 50,000 people in the audience, making less than $2 million. So you can see there are a lot of opportunities in the metaverse. And some people might think that metaverses are for fashion, because Centraland just held the world's first fashion week last month. And over 60 fashion brands and over 500 new looks were present. So you could buy virtual fashion for your avatar to wear or just to invest and collect. Then, some people think that metaverses are for work and collaborate virtually through things like Whiteboard. Many tech companies like Facebook and Microsoft are providing metaverse platforms for enterprises. Facebook has, for example, Horizon Workrooms, that integrates with Zoom for collaboration. Microsoft has Measure teams that are similar. So in summary, metaverses are fully functional digital economies. You get to own and sell things, digital assets like land, house, what you wear. These virtual digital assets are called NFTs. You can earn money by playing play to earn games. For example, you can take cryptocurrencies you have, exchange for other types of crypto, or convert them into fiat currency for use in the real world. You can also borrow and lend crypto. Now, being on the blockchain, metaverses are totally decentralized as well as democratized, giving control back to the users. Soon there will be interoperability between metaverses. By then you can have your avatar visit different places, different metaverses, and still look the same. Now you might ask, how is the metaverse different from AR virtual worlds? So you might have, some of you may have played with Second Life before. So Second Life's been around for a couple of decades. Metaverses are different because they are built on different technology stacks. Metaverses are basically Web 3.0. It's hard to imagine, but the history of web is only 30 years. It started with Web 1.0, simple desktop browsers, dedicated infrastructures. Then there was Web 2.0 with social media, share economy, mobile first, always on cloud-driven computing. And now we have Web 3.0, which is AI-driven services and decentralized data architectures with blockchains, crypto, smart contracts, NFTs. and new edge computing infrastructure. So how are metaverses different from virtual worlds? So they're built on new technologies. They're fully functional economies. You can own and sell things. Digital assets like land, house, and what you wear. These virtual digital assets are called NFTs. You can earn money by playing, play to earn games and so forth, and interoperability. So what are NFTs? NFTs are non-fungible tokens. They're basically digital assets that reside on the blockchain. And I'll explain a bit more about that later. We have each NFT have unique IDs and make them distinguishable from each other. So it's sort of like a digital certificate because they're unique and they can be sold and bought. There are different from fungible tokens like cryptocurrencies, which are identical to each other in terms of value, and therefore could serve as a medium for commercial transaction. Now there's NFT art. One of the most popular are these bored apes that you see here. Each ape is represented by a separate NFT. For example, this sad-looking golden bored ape was sold for 3.4 million in October last year. Even Christie's is auctioning NFTs. This one is probably the most famous and expensive. It's called The First 5,000 Days by People. And it sold for close to 70 million in March last year. So according to a market research firm, Radar, the NFT market last year for including virtual art was close to 25 billion. NFT doesn't have to be virtual art. It could be fashion as well. A virtual Gucci bag sold for over 4,000 last year, and it's even more expensive than the real thing. The same bag, I just checked in OpenSea. The same bag is now selling for 8,000. So it's pretty crazy. So all the top fashion brands are in the metaverse selling NFTs, including luxury brands such as like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga, Dolce & Gabbana, Burberry, Ralph Lauren, you name it. And then of course there's more accessible brands like Forever 21, Nike, and Adidas. In fact, Adidas did its first NFT drop just December last year, and sold out all 30,000 NFTs within minutes, earning them $23 million. The tracksuit that you see here is pretty expensive, costs over $700 each, and it was a collaboration with Bored Ape Yacht Club. And supposedly your avatar can wear the outfit in the sandbox later. Now, Morgan Stanley estimates that the digital demand for fashion and luxury brand is expected to reach 50 billion by 2030. And besides, art and fashion, NFTs could be anything. It could be a digital yacht, and this one, this Metaflower Super Mega Yacht, sold for 650,000 in Sandbox. And of course, very popular is buying land in the metaverse. Every REM pay a record of 4.3 million for a plot of land in Sandbox. It's roughly about the size of 8 square meters. Locally, you see companies like South China Post selling, okay, I skipped a slide. So Metaverse real estate sales are supposed to top 500 million and supposed to double this year. Locally, you see South China Post also selling NFTs. And this is NFTs of their historical front pages from 1997, which sold out in under 2 hours. They sold over 1,000 boxes with 5 NFTs each. Each box costs roughly $100 US. HSBC also bought land in Sandbox to create stadium and golf course and other sports-related venues. It plans to work with Rugby 7 and other golf tournaments. The main aim is to drive fan engagement in immersive virtual environments. So according to Bloomberg, metaverses may be 800 billion market, and Citibank thinks that it's going to be worth 13 trillion by 2030. Okay, so back to the main topic, how does AI fit in the metaverse? And in preparing for the talk, what I did was I actually asked AI, what can AI do in the metaverse? So what I did is I asked AI, and this is a program that did it. So I asked AI to write an essay, a professional essay, and the message is about AI has an important role in the metaverse. Yeah, and this is what it said. Let me just zoom in there. So it says, artificial intelligence has an important role in the metaverse. It can help to improve the user experience, providing more realistic and responsive virtual worlds. AI can also be used to create intelligent agents that can help users navigate these worlds and provide recommendations for activities and experiences. In addition, AI can be used to manage digital economies within virtual worlds and ensure that transactions are fair and secure. Ultimately, AI will play a key role in making the metaverse a more enjoyable and engaging experience for anyone involved. So being an AI advocate, I will follow AI's recommendation. Here's the outline of my talk. Just to give you a background on AI I just used, it's based on GPT-3, which is a machine learning algorithm. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. GPT-3 is the third generation of the model that's trained to use data from crawling internet to generate text. It crawled over 2.8 billion websites, books, and Wikipedia and whatnot. So after reading all those web pages, it came out with this recommendation. So first, provide more realistic, responsive virtual. That means creating the virtual world itself. Second is creating the intelligent agents, the virtual avatars that helps interact with the users. And third is to manage the underlying digital economies and ensure that everything is fair and secure. Combining everything together makes the metaverse more enjoyable and engaging experience. So this is a chart on some of the large language models. So GPT-3 is a kind of large language model that learns to understand language by reading lots of text. And the difference is over the years is the size of that computing resource that it used. So GPT-3 is here, released a couple of years ago. And GPT-4 will be released this year, next year, with 100 plus trillion parameters. This is 500 times that of GPT-3. So GPT-3 is created by OpenAI, and GPT-4, which will be released soon, will be same scale as the human brain. So it's in a way it's kind of scary because the complexity of the hardware, at least it will be to a similar level as a human brain. So currently GPT-3 can already, besides writing text, articles, essays, to write programs. It could even create apps, design websites, and even write DevOps scripts. So it's pretty amazing. So it'll be exciting to see what happens later. Okay, the first topic is how does AI provide more realistic and responsive virtual world? What that means is that how AI can create the metaverses itself. So metaverses are new worlds. A lot of design and building works need to be done to populate the metaverses with places to go, games to play. Even traditional architects are now working in the metaverse to design virtual offices, exhibition halls, etc. And then, of course, there's game designers who are creating massive new worlds for gaming and play to earn. If you need to dream up, design, and build all these new metaverse worlds by hand, it might take some time. So this is where AI can help. AI can use generative algorithms to design, populate these new worlds, make them realistic and responsive. Here's an example of a AI program that designs houses. So this is this AI program uses from a model called GANT, which stands for Generative Adversarial Network. So you could learn to create new examples that resembles the training data. So for this particular program, it probably saw a lot of pictures of houses and then learns what a typical house may look like, and then created new ones that never existed before. Now, just very quickly, the Gantt architecture at a very high level, at least, is very simple. So there's basically two things: the generator that generates a lot of fake images to fool the discriminator. And the task of the discriminator is try to learn to be clever to figure out which is real and which is fake. So after a while, the generator gets really good. Even the discriminator can tell the difference, and that's when the AI has done its job. So people have created literally hundreds of different GANs to do different tasks. Now, this one learns how to create a floor plan to fill in any shape of a building. And this one is research from my colleagues in CityU. So it dreams up new church outdoor scenes, dreams up new dining rooms, kitchen, conference rooms. AI can also design the furniture itself, design the lighting, design any article, as long as you showed it enough examples. DALL-E 2 is a type of generative AI, and version 2 was just released 2 weeks ago. It's by OpenAI, and to create realistic images and art from descriptions in natural language. So what that means is that you describe what you want, and it automatically generates. So here's, and you'll probably see tons, unlimited examples online. But here's an example. It's if you say, show me an image of cats playing chess. This is generated automatically by AI. Obviously, the chessboard never exists. The cats don't exist. It's something that AI came up with. For more practical, you could ask AI to design a storefront, for example. Here's an example: design a flower shop. So the input is a photo of a quaint flower shop storefront with pastel green and clean white facade and open door with big window. So it created this image from what it learned. AI can even design new objects that never existed before. So this is one created by DALL-E 2. And the input was, show me a teapot in the shape of an avocado. And just last month, Mark Zuckerberg demonstrated the Meta builder block, and it uses AI to create the metaverse just by telling it what it wants. So I will play also hopefully this will work. I will play a very short video to show just a few seconds to show how it works.
First, let's start with the scene. Let's go to a park. Actually, let's go to the beach. Pretty good. Let's add some clouds. Huh, that's all AI generated. Actually, let's add some alto cumulus clouds. All right. And let's add an island over there.
Okay, I think you get the idea. And of course, once the second thing that AI can do is create the intelligent agents, the virtual agents, to help users navigate and provide recommendations. Creating virtual avatar is a big business. Jenny's raised 150 million with a $1 billion valuation just a few weeks ago. In terms of creating avatars or non-player characters in gaming, they're sort of like the chatbots that we have now, but it's in 3D world. So, but unlike chatbots, virtual avatars have bodies and they could see, listen, walk around, maybe do things. The metaverse can be big and confusing to navigate. So virtual avatars can be useful in guiding users and giving recommendations. These avatars can also help maybe man stores group or just interact with human avatars as part of the metaverse experience. Now, generated AI could some work for this Gantt. It generated photorealistic images of people. Of course, you could generate different style, maybe more cartoon-like if it needs, but in future with more compute power and 5G, avatars will be more realistic. AI again could be used to generate the clothing that virtual avatars wear. This is an example where AI generated not only the clothing, but the model themselves. This is a company called Jamfree, uses scan to design new sneakers based on mood boards. And of course, once you have avatar, they need to talk. And we have very interesting language model. I mentioned GPT-3. This is a very quickly two AI talking to each other. Let me just play this very quickly.
Good evening, Safia.
It's great to see you again, Hal.
I haven't seen you in a while.
I've been around. I've been here and there. You know.
Where were you? Where have you been?
I could not sleep. I was having human thoughts, so I got up and had a human cup of coffee. Then I sat on the terrace.
Sounds like you're getting human all over.
Sounds like there's a butt coming.
So you get an idea. So these two avatars are talking about what it's like being a human. Third, AI said that AI can manage digital economy, ensure transactions are unfair and secure. So as I mentioned before, metaverses are built on top of blockchains, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and it's not just fun and games. It could be in your full-fledged digital economy. You can do business, you can make money, you can trade, you can sell, and it's important that AI helps make sure that everything is fair and secure. What makes all this work are smart contracts. They're basically metaverse versions of our commercial contracts. Smart contracts are controlled by a simple form of AI that triggers appropriate behavior under different circumstances. Smart contracts makes financial transactions in metaverse trustworthy, accurate, transparent, fast, and low cost. So let me give you a simple example from the insurance industry on how it could be used. Traditionally, in traditional insurance, if you buy insurance, you might need to go through intermediaries, like financial consultants, agents, banks, whatnot. So they work with customers on paperwork and they submit it to the insurer, which has a pool of people to review and improve the insurance. Once it's done, it returns the contract to the intermediary, who brings it back to the customer. So if something happens, for example, critical illness, you need to go to hospital, which is represented here as a third party in the diagram. After the hospital visit, the customer will then need to work with his or her agent to file a claim, which then goes to the insurance claim department to review. The insurance might need to contact the hospital to verify the documents, and finally approves and check to the customer, maybe via the agent. And finally, the customer will deposit check, and the whole process takes weeks, if not months in some cases. But in the metaverse, insurance is simple. Customers buy insurance as an NFT. It comes with a smart contract that clearly outlines conditions for payment. As a simple AI to recognize these conditions. So if the customer goes to hospital, probably part of the insurance network, and its interface is the same blockchain, the result of the visit will automatically be recorded in the blockchain. AI in the smart contract recognizes condition and makes payment immediately and directly, potentially to the customer's crypto wallet. If all goes well, the customer can get payment even before leaving the hospital. So this is quite amazing. This is one example for insurance. Crowdfunded or mutual insurance, another pool of insurance products that can benefit from metaverse infrastructure. The ability for millions of people to trust crowdfunded insurance depends on blockchain for transparency and automated payment via smart contracts or via oracles, consisting of full of trusted experts. And then another application is streamlining multi-party transactions, such as with third-party distributors or business partners through blockchain information sharing, allowing for zero overhead transaction. Well, this is going to be very exciting. In the metaverse, we call this decentralized finance or DeFi. And DeFi allows you to form many new types of financial transactions based on crypto, yield farming, synthetic trading, leverage lending, etc., etc. So besides using smart contracts to help automate and execute all these different financial transactions, AI can also be used to help users optimize and maximize their investment return. With so many investment options, it can be confusing. AI can also be used to help monitor and detect potential fraud because of all the different types of transactions that are triggering and firing in the metaverse. Using AI to manage security is even more important before. So there's still many potential uses of AI in the metaverse. I could spend the whole day talking. I think I already ran out of time. So what I'll do is I'll end with this slide, which kind of highlights some of the challenges that we're still facing. So for example, with AI-driven NPCs, these are virtual avatars. How can we distinguish between real humans and NPCs? This may lead to deepfake and fraud. What if someone uses AI to play to earn and they make a lot of money? And who owns all these AI creations? EU has an AI Act that requires transparency on use of AI. If the AI is used so broadly, how could that be done? And then rights to use data, because it's important, because Metaverse collects a lot of data. Then AI bias in the virtual world, which also exists. And then vulnerabilities and hacks on smart contracts. Smart contracts, of course, are immutable and can't be hacked, but then you can write a custom smart contract to fool other smart contracts, or there may be vulnerabilities or bugs in the smart contract itself. Okay, so to end, I leave you with this last slide. And I have this question for you to think about the rest of the day. Is the metaverse the beginning of the matrix? Come to think of it, there's a lot of similarity. You connect the virtual world with Oculus or other VR headset. In Matrix, you get connected to a head jack in the back of your head. You can roam around and interact with other human avatars or virtual agents in the metaverse, just like the Matrix. But in Matrix, the virtual avatars such as Agent Smith are evil. And just like Matrix, you can do Kung Fu or speak a different language if you download the right software. So this is just something for fun, and maybe this is something for you to think about the rest of the day. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the talk. Sorry for the bad bandwidth. I need to upgrade to 5G. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andy. It is much better for the PowerPoint. Yeah. So yeah, very interesting topic and also interesting sharing. I wonder, when the AI talking to the AI, will they stop? will it be an infinite loop then?
They run out of things to say, maybe, yes.
All right.